Here's my mic check. My mic check seems to be doing all right as far as those levelers go. Yeah.
Matt's just gonna be slurping into the mic all day.
No, it's gone. Couldn't you tell?
What's gone? The mic? You slurped it on up? It's a gross phrase.
Slurped?
Slurp it on up. Slurp it on up.
Were you going for a goof there?
Hello and welcome to Good Enough. I'm Sam, joined as always by Robbie.
Yo.
Matthew.
Hello.
Gentlemen, how's everyone today?
Angry.
Oh, you want to talk about it, champ?
I'm actually really tired.
Oh. You were sick.
Oh, man. I told you.
You got all sick,
I
bro.
told you guys not to do this.
Well, you shouldn't have said that because now that's all we've been thinking about.
No, you shouldn't.
How are we gonna?
You shouldn't have gotten sick.
How are we gonna bring it up? God.
Yeah. You shouldn't have gotten sick.
And this is it.
Yeah,
You were sick.
I was violently sick this last week, yes.
I know you were like your skateboard tricks fucking just so on point. That's how you were violently good at skateboard.
Did you write that joke down?
No, I just thought of it up right now.
We could tell. We could tell.
Because I'm so quick on my feet and witty, right?
No.
Oh, my bad. Oh God, are we going to talk about? It's game club time, everybody.
Yeah.
And we played more beyond Two Souls.
If this chapter was a skateboard trick, it'd be that thing where you just hit the end of the skateboard and it like slams up and hits you in the nuts.
If this was the first chapter in the game, I would have abandoned game club.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have played the rest.
What is this world they live in?
This is we played Navajo in Beyond Two Souls.
And just like as a reminder, we were playing a game about Ellen Page, who is
Attached to a spirit.
who they like use.
No, not
She
really.
calls it an entity.
No, never mind.
They don't really use
it's
it.
Attached to an entity where you. What? I don't know. Ellen Page is a woman attached to an entity who for her entire life has been learning how to deal with it and has been recruited by the CEA, the CIA,
the Central Excitement Agency.
And at the moment, she's on the run.
Hold on, I'm afraid you didn't hear my joke.
I was trying to think of something better than that, but I couldn't get it. So I mean, that's
the Central Excitement Agency.
Maybe I should answer this phone call live on the.
Please don't answer the phone call live.
What if it's David Cage?
If it's David Cage, can you send him a message? Fuck you!
I'm gonna put him on. I'll put him on a conference call.
Fuck you, David. Y'all,
And for a woman who's been attached to this spirit her whole life and trained to use this spirit her whole life, she forgets about him a lot.
right? And I was looking at the timeline. You know how it's got the timeline of the chapters. This is the one closest to the prologue, right? This is post homeless. This is before she gets back to the sheriff's station and apparently kills all those police officers or SWAT people, right? So this is like, I feel like when David Cage was writing this, he was like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be a big impactful moment for Jodie. This is going to be a big character defining chapter for her."
Mm-hmm. What kind of is this chapter before she gets picked up by the sheriff?
Yeah.
So it's before she meets the home. Before home, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh,
honestly, Matt, I don't know enough to care.
Because she meets the sheriff right after homeless.
Like as far as this timeline's concerned, for me,
that's what the
means
first,
nothing, and I don't give two farts.
My first note in this. My first note in this was I don't know where this is in the timeline. Like this doesn't make. They just drop you in here.
Well, it's funny. I made it a point to look at where in the timeline it took place during the loading screen, and I felt like was it after homeless?
I honestly don't know.
But I feel like it can't be.
It came after homeless, which probably means it's before it.
Yeah.
Or some bullshit, but I don't know.
Because homeless ends directly. It ends with
I don't
getting picked
know
up by the sheriff. where you go to the sheriff's office and kill all the SWAT members in prologue.
Yeah, that's the prologue.
And honestly, in between, like I don't even look up at the screen or pay attention to anything that's happening. So I couldn't even tell you where it comes up on the timeline.
Navajo takes place after Broken. Have we played Broken yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think we have. But it's after Homeless.
Okay.
So Homeless is before this, and then Navajo.
All right, that's what I was kind of under the impression of. Like,
So is she must still be like wandering.
Yeah.
Anyways, after she escapes the hospital.
Can I comment real quick? I'm looking at the chapters in chronological order. It goes all the way through. Chapter 26 is prologue. Chapter 27 is epilogue.
Oh,
That makes sense.
David Cage he's read a lot of books. You can tell. Guys, so she's wandering the desert and like trying to hitchhike across the desert, and then finds a family of Navajos just living.
I guess she just assumes that.
I want to preface our discussion.
I mean, she was right.
Well, yeah.
She was, yeah. But I want to preface this. This chapter was very like culturally insensitive, and
Yeah. My second note was I'm very nervous about how this game is going to handle Native Americans.
yeah, and there was a whole lot of racism happening in this chapter, but more than that, it was just a huge drop ball, like in terms of world building, and story
And
building.
you know what's bad is as soon as like you guys were saying, like, oh no, like you got like that feeling in your stomach, like, oh no, this can't be good.
Yeah.
Like the moment I walked onto that ranch,
Yep.
I was like, please don't tell me there's anything to do with any kind of spirit or entity here.
And you know what? That was the entire chapter.
Oh my god.
It's fucking bonkers that we got a chapter called Navajo, and there are Native Americans living here. The entire fucking plot has to deal with spirits and ancestry. Insane to me.
But my biggest thing is if you're going to do that, go for it. But end it with some answers. I got nothing out of this, like more than any of the other chapters.
So this family is
nothing.
They're haunted by a spirit, right? That
Yeah, well, just to start off, when she first showed up and asked if she could stay there, and then they were speaking to each other, and she was just like standing by, and I was like, I wrote in my notes, oh, they're probably saying that she's a witch in their language, like.
you know, given the rest of the dialogue in this chapter, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Honestly, and then when it was like, oh yeah, you can stay here. This is so and so. This is so and so, and she never speaks. Yeah, I was like, motherfucker.
I was like, I'm sure she's not going to have anything to do with this.
My first thought was Resident Evil 7, just because there's a grandmother in a wheelchair that doesn't speak, and then at the end it turns out she's like the key to all of it, just like in this chapter.
Wait a minute, like eating dinner was.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was so.
I was
dumb.
reaching for the potatoes, not those burrito looking things.
It's I wrote down. Oh, my notes say dinner was completely fucking silent. Like,
Dude, they ate in silence for probably like 20 minutes, and then all of a
And she
sudden
didn't even
that
go
guy,
clean up. I thought it was really. She didn't try to go wash her hands.
She
Yeah.
was all sweaty sitting at
Yeah.
the table, and then the guy's like, "So where are you from?"
after they've eaten.
we don't see people. We don't normally see
All
a lot of
the
people.
responses were like, or the questions were. One of them was Navajo
Yeah.
with a question mark. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
was like,
I'm not
you're
gonna.
not
I'm
gonna-
not
you're
leaning
not
into
gonna
this.
force me into
I'm not
this.
going to lean into this.
But they do, right? Didn't they make you? Go?
I mean, I got through dinner without asking Navajo, but then at lunchtime during the workday, they
when
forced
you had to.
they
when it
force
forced
you
into
to
doing
say
every
Navajo.
single option, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I tried. I didn't go outside at all.
with the first night.
Until I was forced to. I was
I
forced
did.
to.
I did.
I was forced to the third night.
Well, hold on. The first night, so you're staying with this native family, and then like they're all suspicious, and I don't know why that guy was such a dick. Anyways, like Jay or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you can't stay here. I guess he couldn't really just say you can't stay here. We're haunted.
We're haunted. And then like, yeah. So when they were boarding up everything, I wrote down the fuck monsters. Then I wrote down ghost farm, all with question marks, and then all of it came true. I was
It's
But then after all that happens, the next morning, everyone's working on the farm. You're eating coffee.
What's insane
And
is
I'm like,
that
I was like, no one's gonna reference any of what
even
just
that
happened.
after the first night, they won't tell Jody what's happening, but she like was there and experienced it.
So what happened
firsthand.
on your first night, Robbie?
I just went to sleep.
And
I
woke
put-
up-
I
and you
put
woke up the next morning?
I put a pillow over my head and went
So
to
you held
sleep.
X to sleep?
Yeah, well, no, I had to hold L1 and R1 to hold a pillow over my head to go to sleep.
Because like the
Oh.
noise?
Yeah, I guess.
I tried to go back to bed because
I got in bed and then
she couldn't sleep
Yeah,
and she got up.
I
Yeah.
suffocated myself to sleep because that's what it looked like. Like she was just doing this.
Okay, so if you go outside that first night, you can try.
I don't care. I 1,000% don't care.
Like you try to go outside, and then there's just like that specter, that spirit standing there, and it's
The one that watches you shower.
yeah.
So see, I missed nothing. Let's see.
can we talk about the work day?
No,
with
because
the
before.
Well, I
horrible
wanted
motion
to-
Wait,
control.
wait,
I
wait.
had more goofs about the dinner.
Wait, I have more about the next morning because what did you guys? Did you guys sit and eat or
I
whatever?
walked around the table for like 30 seconds before they would
walked-
let me get coffee.
I walked straight
Right.
out the door. I walked straight to the door
even
and cut him off as he was saying, "I made cook," and then I was trying to leave.
I was walking. I was like, okay, I saw the coffee. I was like, let me get coffee. And I walked around the table for like 30 seconds until he said,
Oh, I made
coffee.
Yeah, no, I bounced. I cut him off with the animation opening the door as he was saying, "I made cook," and I was opening the door.
Matt, how long did you sip coffee?
I drank the whole cup.
Yeah, me too.
Oh God.
I wanted to see how long it would let
Yeah.
All
me.
this riveting gameplay I missed.
Oh.
Sipping coffee. Dude, then I was so pissed off. I was like, the one decision I was looking forward to making is leaving this farm, and they take it away from me. They don't even let me decide.
I wanted to steal a horse.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Back to the dinner.
Okay, did you have a dinner goof?
I was just it just was comically silent.
Yeah.
And like all the prompts to pick up the different food, like, oh, here, now pick up. And then like you had to like tell her what to eat, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, and no one is speaking a word. And it was just super awkward. And I was like, what the fuck kind of dinner is this?
And it was all clunky. Like the controls were clunky as
Yes.
F.
Yes.
Like I said-
The controls were the worst they've ever been.
Yeah,
in this
like I
chapter.
said, I was reaching for those potatoes, not that burrito.
Well, there's like 4 dots for you to reach for, and you're supposed to use the stick.
There were like 2 different types of corn, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's because they're Native American. That's all they eat is corn,
No.
Sam.
It was maize and corn.
Oh my God.
Did you notice? Okay, so when you're leaving the house and he tells you Jay has some clothes that you can borrow.
Yeah, it was like, oh, hey, don't trip. It's your style and your size.
Yeah,
So
and
handle.
she puts on a necklace.
She took his necklace.
I'm like, if someone's gonna let me borrow clothes, I'm not gonna put on their accessories. You
Oh, did she not?
freaking weirdo.
She didn't have that the whole time? That
No,
necklace?
she took that necklace and put it on. I was like, what?
That's
the
funny.
heck?
I didn't even notice that.
It took me a while. Like I had done a couple jobs, and I was looking, and I was like, she 100% did not have that necklace before.
That's
I
funny.
did right. Late in towards the end, I was like, fucking necklace is ugly.
Yeah, she took it from Jay when she put on his clothes.
Didn't even.
Oh man,
make
that's
that
funny.
connection.
Okay, so you guys did the water and the hay, and
Yes.
then the horse. Did you do the horse, or because I think that you could have helped the other brother too? Mm-hmm. Did you guys do the horse?
I did the horse.
Okay,
I brought the sheep water. I brought the sheep hay, and then I did the horse thing
because like I went
after dinner. After
lunch, I went and talked to Paul, and he said, "Go see if you can help the boys." So
Oh, but
I assume you could have helped either of them.
Well,
I helped both.
during that scene, you
did
could
you?
also talk to the.
Just went in there. Homie was yanking on some sheep titties. Milking? I'm sorry. I'm not a farmer.
I went to the horse, and as soon as I was done with that one, I couldn't go help the other brother.
Oh,
we
yeah,
were like, they told me to go shower because I had worked for an hour,
Yeah,
and
you
we were
just-
done with the work day. I know, but I have a question with that horse thing. She walks up, and I try to turn into Aiden,
Yeah, me too.
and she was like, "No, this is between me and the horse." And then 10
then-
seconds later,
Yeah,
All right,
I didn't ever dreamt of riding a horse.
Yeah. During that work sequence, you could talk to the grandmother.
Yeah.
And like reference, oh, this blanket's beautiful. Did you
Yeah.
make it?
I did.
And
I think I wrote something about
like the
yeah,
foreshadowing.
I wrote that blanket means something.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like Paul, the head of the house, he's like, "Oh, go take a shower."
He's behind the barn.
Just out of nowhere. Hey, go shower.
Shower.
Because she looked gross.
What the fuck? Like,
She didn't clean up at all. Not for dinner, not for anything.
After saying like, oh, why don't you stay here? You know, you could do some chores. You'll have food. Can't pay you. So this is whack. I'd like stay maybe another night, get some food for the road, and then leave. Like I didn't think there's any reason for her to be like, oh yeah, I'll stay. But besides all that, so they extended an invitation to stay and help out.
Yeah.
Then the oldest fucking screams at me when I ask questions that next day. Like,
Yeah, like,
what's
what-
going on?
why- like,
he's
what-
like, hey, why don't you keep your secrets to yourself and stop asking questions? I'm like, hey, this motherfucker, it like drained a goat the night before. Like, I think I should.
yeah, like they're
and
just
she,
like,
she asked what happened to the goats. It choked on sand.
It choked on sand.
it was just like, yeah, like a big like sandstorm happened, and then like I don't know, shit was attacking the house, and she saw that specter,
And then when
and no one's willing to answer her questions.
no,
And then it turns out that this spirit is Imhotep from the Mummy. I wrote that down because I really wanted to do that
Is it a
goof.
good goof? Are you proud of that one?
Do you
When-
get it?
Yeah, the face
they
in the
were-
sand. Yeah.
do we get it?
Like it's some obscure reference. That was the poster for that movie. Matt,
Wow, man, you're fucking. You're like
pop culture deep cut there.
You're like encyclopedic knowledge of all movies. But when you go to help the dude with the horse, and he's like, "Have you ever like worked with an animal before?" And she's like, "No." He's like, "All right."
I know.
Well, I feel like
he wanted her
to get kicked in the head.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said, "Does he want me to die or get at the very least be hurt?" Like, oh yeah. Then I wrote down, "Can't even shower in peace."
Yeah, I know. Seriously, because then she saw that specter again, and then go ahead.
No, when you're done.
What I forget what happened after that. Did she have to go check on the pump after that, or
No.
No,
No,
they
they
went to the
after
sheep.
shower. They're like all around the fire or something, right? Aren't they? Or they're like all talking with each other because they come in.
Yeah.
And I wrote down what they said. It was like you come in at the end of the conversation, and I think it's the youngest says, "The guy left running. The guy left running and was never seen again." And then they all laugh.
Oh yeah, that's
Like,
right. At
all you-
dinner.
Oh yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
you
yeah.
hear is, yeah, you know, he went off running and he was never seen again. And everyone's all, like, what?
And then they all go to bed, and then Jody again tries to go outside.
Quit getting up, Jody. You should think she would have learned that.
Did you guys miss any of the the stupid CIA training controls during that running?
I missed
All-
basically
All
everyone.
of them.
I got hit by the water tank.
I got fucked up so much. I have a question later on because I got jacked up while writing a note. I didn't realize a prompt was
So
coming.
so did I.
Same.
When I was running around and like the water tank where you're taking a shower, it fell on me.
Jesus.
And then she got up and just started walking. I was like,
Well, she goes
what is
outside.
it? Does this mean anything?
Well, hang on. We didn't. You got to describe like what she went outside and saw. Like
Well, you see Imhotep.
the face in the clouds, like hammering on the house.
Like literally dropping hammer fists
Yeah.
on the house while a bunch of ghosts shoot fucking light at it.
And there were there were literal ghosts outside.
yeah.
And-
they were
okay.
fighting off this monster from the house.
And
What
okay,
the
and that house
fuck?
is made of wood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go and hide in that wood shack, and it bursts through with its hammer fist.
Right.
Why isn't it destroying the
Well,
house?
Matthew,
how much
You've clearly put more thought into it than anybody.
than the David Cage? Can I ask you how thorough were you exploring her bedroom? Because we got some more racism, my man.
Well, I found the ashes.
Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, they put ashes in the house to
Oh,
protect
around
from
the-
the spirit. I was
Yeah.
like, God damn.
I didn't see that as racist. It just
I
sounded
kind of
like-
did.
Like, oh great, fucking some magic bullshit's going on here. That's all I took it as.
Right. So then she
Wait, real quick. After I walked outside and saw the fucking monster dropping hammer fists, I was like, what? I was like so upset. I was like, oh brother. I paused and I had to write down. I said, from the moment I saw the title Navajo, I was worried how they would handle, like how Indians would be represented. said, I'm not sure how to feel as I watch this sand monster fight a bunch of ghosts.
Bunch of native ghosts. I can't believe that's what the story was about, honestly.
And in the middle of that thing, there's a new Aiden prompt that I missed, and like the ghost just dropped her. Like you're supposed to like catch her, maybe. I don't know because I missed it.
Oh, like when the ghost is holding her?
Yeah,
You're supposed to put like a force field
You make a
around
force
her.
It's
field.
like it was a different prompt from the pinch or the slingshot.
You've
Wasn't
used
it?
that one before. It was a pinch.
But I was like, oh fuck this stupid fucking game.
My thing
And
is-
then, whoa, fuck motion controls.
Yeah, I
Are
put
you
that-
fucking kidding me? I have to fucking light a match with this motion control bullshit.
Yes.
I was
My biggest thing is this chapter is based on spirits, about a game about spirits, and we probably use Aiden the least in this chapter out of every other chapter. I'm like, oh god, take advantage of your story.
They built and then god, hold on. Let's get through the rest of the story because
All right, so the next morning you go out and magically know how to ride a horse.
because Aiden was Aiden controlling the horse the rest of the time.
No, I don't think so.
If it was, again, they didn't bother telling us.
And you go and have a stupid conversation with Jay.
Oh yeah, he goes, I'm gonna go tend the sheep. Come tend the sheep with me if you want. And then you get there and tending the sheep is like just sitting
Sit
there.
there. You don't touch a sheep at all.
And like
You're-
I did truth in every single
So did
prompt
I.
in this
Yep.
game, and all of her responses were like, "I'm just trying to run away from myself."
It looked like
Don't know where I'm going.
They look like the evasive option.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was like this is their chance for more lore building and world building, and they just wrote it away with just trying to make a new start. That's all.
And then you have another run-in with the spirit that writes in English.
She asks the dude, like, do you know the ghost? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I was expecting to be like, do you know the ghost? Because I have a ghost and his name's Aiden.
Yeah, seriously.
She was about to tell him, and then his walkie-talkie goes off.
Paul shows it.
Like all of this page started all my questions. Do you yeah, I'm fucking running away. What the fuck else am I gonna be doing? Always truth. Why anything else? Like why? Why would he let her? Why would he let her do anything on the farm alone?
Yeah.
Like
seriously.
Yeah.
Dude, like
Go check on our water source for
Yeah, you're
us.
fine. You can. It's like there's probably nothing you can do.
We're not gonna be able to, survive if you don't fix
Well, and
it.
he
But
says,
that's okay.
He says there's probably nothing you can do. She's like, I'll try. He's like, all right.
yeah.
and then
later,
he's like, why
all-
wouldn't he go? Like if he's confident that she doesn't
He's
know
like,
how
you
to fix
probably
it.
can't do anything. So I'll see you back at the farmhouse. Oh my god.
And then like she goes on an adventure
To Fort Crown.
because that's what this ghost was trying to tell her.
You get
Crown.
to that fort, and she's like, "Oh, Fort Crown."
She knew.
I looked. There's no sign anywhere that called that Fort Crown.
And then it showed like a bunch of like Civil War soldiers getting killed.
I wrote real quick. I wrote down push a tumbleweed as Aiden, and I said that should have been on the back of the game case. then I wrote down rated T for teen.
Push rated T for tumbleweed, Robbie.
Then after that, it was just
Bitch,
follow
let's acknowledge my good joke.
Well, as soon as you tell one,
And then she goes to the Devil's Fork and digs up an Indian burial ground.
First of
and
all-
steals stuff.
first of all, found a straight up what had to have been a Civil War era sword and hat just lying on top of the dirt.
In like pristine condition,
like that.
not buried.
Like there is no way that isn't an antique. Like,
yeah,
And
absolutely.
worth like
Yeah.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Or like
I mean, she also found dug like in a hole like 4 inches deep, like skeleton skulls
Yeah.
and medallions. It was like all this stuff. Although I will give them credit, I was very happy I didn't have to go to each little spot and dig.
Yeah.
they
It was
all
like a
They all
montage.
just came up by the.
The thing that made me mad, like she has that vision and she's like, wait, it was too quick. I couldn't. It's like there's something missing.
Yeah, the one thing was missing was another artifact that
Well,
then
She
gave
sees
you-
that there's 5 of them and she has 4 and she's like,
Talismans that she digs up.
It's yeah, talismans. She's like, it's like there's something missing. Like the fifth talisman.
Yeah.
That's
You
this
moron.
game. That's his game. Like, there's no way when you're riding that horse you could go in the wrong direction because the camera forces you to look at the direction.
No,
you're
I went
going.
in the wrong direction. I was telling Sam, I went almost back to the farm. I was
Really?
back at the farm, and then it said it stopped me, and it said, "Oh wait, I need to go find the crown."
Like, I was just like so amazed at how hand-holdy that whole part felt because it was just like there's only one thing to look at anytime you jump back on the horse.
I was able to turn around.
Like my camera, did these weird things to boom, set into place, and then I just started walking in that direction. And as soon as I got close to certain markers or whatever, triggers or whatever, she would start talking and then I'd be like, oh, it's right there.
Why did she know the tree was called Devil's Fork?
Same reason she knew Fort Crown was called Fort Crown.
Yeah.
My favorite part about the Devil's Fork and where all those talismans were is that it was literally 100 yards from the farm.
100 yards from the farm, the symbol was still dug into the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
This is presumably, I don't know,
Hundreds of years
a
ago.
couple hundred years old.
I was gonna say these are. I wrote down finding centuries old artifacts.
And the artifacts are clean and bright, and then the symbols are still carved in the dirt, drawn in the dirt.
Then and then when she had that flashback or whatever, I wrote down Grammy is the baby.
Yeah, because it's the same blanket or whatever. But did that blanket grow?
Yeah, that blanket was way too
Did that
big.
blanket grow?
Unless she was super small as a baby and just super wrapped up, it was
Yeah.
all insulation.
I know. And then you get back to the
I'm not sure what this is. It just says what.
one of your notes. You get back to the farm and Paul's hurt or whatever, right? Is that time or
Yes.
Yeah.
He's choked on sand.
No, I just remembered what was for. So
uh-oh.
So cutting edge science and tribal magic are what can bring these entities into our world.
So you find out that the spirit was summoned by the natives.
They opened the rift.
They opened the rift, dude.
The
What?
same thing that the condenser opened.
How did they open the rift? This is my biggest question. Is
That was my biggest. That's why. That's why it says what?
With talismans and an incantation.
it's just straight magic.
So either magic or high sci-fi
Well,
technology.
the thing is, in this game, and this is part of the reason why this chapter is so fucking stupid. It's because they've established that these spirits are, or these entities are from a different dimension, and they can be brought through via a rift. And the only way we've seen that happen is with the condenser, brought in the entities from the other dimension. And so, as far as sci-fi goes and hard sci-fi goes, I'm willing to accept that because
Same.
I mean, we're familiar with sci-fi tropes and stuff, and these are the rules that this world has established and built.
Yeah.
That these natives just summoned one through a ritual with 5 talismans.
They get 5 necklaces and boom, they can summon
What
this
is
thing that takes a building's worth of equipment and
Yes.
scientists
and who knows how many billions and billions of dollars? It's just the world has established a certain set of rules, and this just went against every single rule. Unless this is addressed later, I don't understand.
I would be even more mad if this
Yeah.
chance encounter meant anything more than this. I mean, it already means more than it should. This chance just walking down the street and coming across this fucking ghost farm.
All right, well, let's talk about the climax.
Okay.
Oh,
So you
God.
pick up a stick in that convenient pile of sticks and draw. I don't know why this made me mad, but she draws a perfect circle.
It made me even more mad when they was oh, now you have to remember what it looked like.
I really, really wanted to do one that wasn't the right one.
I did one.
Can I guess?
you?
Can I guess what happens? It just makes you pick the right one, right?
Yeah, she draws it and then she goes, "Oh, that's not right," and then she messes
my
up with her
God.
feet,
I
and you have to
figured.
try again.
I figured.
But when she gets back to the farm and Paul is hurt. And then you go inside and you go to the grandma like, oh, the blanket is, you're the baby. And then grandma just like, who hasn't spoken in 30 years.
Literally has more dialogue than anyone else in this chapter.
She hasn't spoken for 30 years. She's been sitting on the secret of the spirit for 30 fucking years.
And knew that the talismans were out there and that she had the last one.
She knew.
She knew all of that.
She let her family suffer.
Yes, because she also...
She knew the incantation. She didn't know all of that other stuff, I don't think.
She made it sound like she did.
I mean, how is she gonna...
I mean, she was a baby.
But she was told by... She told her that my mother gave me that blanket, blah, 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 just like she passed down all this crap.
But in that dialogue with her and Jody, she says, I know the incantation, but I don't remember. She tells Jody, I don't know the other stuff. And Jody says, I've seen it. I know what it looks like.
Okay, that's fine. I'll play along with that because the other talismans were buried 100 yards from their house.
Yeah.
And like she's lived there probably her entire life, right?
Well, we know she has because we saw her as a baby at that tree.
Well, I just wonder, my question is like, the people who originally opened up the rift and summoned the thing
chose to live there.
They chose to live there, but like they presumably knew where the fifth talisman was. Because it was like, look to your left, it's right there. It's right there. It never left the property. It's right there. You could throw a football to it.
Oh my God.
And then, oh my God. So she gets all the talismans and makes the symbol and is going to.
My favorite part in the entire. My favorite part
There's
in the entire
5 talismans,
game.
and then the grandma, the 2 brothers, and Jody.
Like, we need a 5th soul.
Oh my God!
Can I tell you what my first instinct
I almost
was?
threw my controller against the wall.
I wanted them to go get Paul and lay him down
like-
by the circle.
I was like, am I going to drag this dead body out here? And then I was like, then it came to me like,
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like, oh, we need a 5th soul. Who's the 5th soul? And then she straight up said, Aiden, you're the 5th soul.
My thing was like, Jody, there's been a soul attached to you your entire life.
You're 2 souls. You count as 2.
God.
That's the name of the game. Oh my God.
And again, why was Aiden not pulled inside of the rift? This is the second time that there's been a rift opened up where he should have been pulled inside.
Because he's an entity like everything else, right?
Yeah.
And like...
In the condenser, he should have been pulled into it. And in this one, he should have been pulled into it. And he wasn't.
Yeah.
Did you guys have trouble? Because I had trouble seeing during that spirit battle.
Yeah.
Like when you're supposed to punch the spirit. Did you guys
Spirit
have trouble?
battle?
I did.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of trouble. So I imagine you guys did.
Yeah.
Real quick, I wrote down A and J Ghostbusters. And while I was writing that, I said, I missed something while writing that. Be sure to ask the boys why I ended up on my ass outside the sweat lodge.
She gets, I think the spirit like hits her.
I assumed, but I was like...
The spirit hits her, and then I never see the spirit hit Grandma, but the next time you see an empty wheelchair and her on the ground.
She's dead.
fucking thrown.
But
And Jay is like, Jody, while his grandmother is laying
and
on
father
the ground dead.
is dying in the house.
Like, you just met this girl, bro. Keep it in your pants.
But her name was Shisham.
Oh my God.
Shamasani.
And he
like, what?
screams it at the end.
that was my favorite part when she died, and then he screamed.
Shimasani.
Yeah, to
When
this
he
guy.
screamed that, all I was thinking was the League.
Yeah.
And I was like, because they're
Shiva Kamini Somakundakram.
wait, then my absolute favorite part, that memorial, that funeral service where we just threw grandpa or dad and grandma in a legit 2-foot grave.
Not even, I would not even say 2 foot.
Like their bodies
First rain of the winter. That shit's gonna be dug up.
And I
Like,
tried to see.
First rain of the winter, as soon as the fucking sun goes down, a coyote's gonna come and drag them out of their grave.
A strong wind.
Yeah.
And they were wearing
strong-
they were wearing the same clothes that
A
they were wearing
strong
when they were
wind
dead.
will blow off the cover of dirt that would have been on top of them because
Yeah.
their bodies were straight up above ground level.
And they made, like, I love horse riding in a game. They made horse
don't.
riding something I hate.
Well, I don't in this.
That's what I said. In other games, I love horse riding. They made horse riding in this a nightmare.
And what about that cave at the end
where you have the longest lasting match of all time.
Yeah.
Kidding me, dude? I was so mad when I realized I had to walk back up that goddamn hill to climb it, because climbing is probably some of the worst controls in the game.
Yes, and it was like a cave painting of
something
of what of like the spirit,
and then she's like,
it was the drawing she always drew as a kid of Aiden. Like it was a body connected.
Is that what it was?
It was a body connected to an entity, and that's when I turned off the game. So whatever happened after that, I don't know. I'm assuming it was close to the end, but I
didn't realize
shut that shit off because I was so pissed off at how I was like. Now there is like whatever is happening to her. Like there's some sort of origination or some like original thing happening here at this place she came across randomly, and it was just like,
and then what happens is they give her that old motorcycle, the rusty motorcycle, and they're like, oh, this
had holes in it.
This is the least we could do to thank you, but like
a rusty motorcycle.
But two people died. Two people died on that
farm. You go back to the
farm.
farm and they're like, thank you for everything you've done for us, like killing our father and grandmother. And then they give her a motorcycle.
No, I know, I saw that.
She leaves.
I was just so pissed off.
So
and then,
but like looking at
her lips are gnarly. I don't know why I wrote that as a note because it's kind of gross.
They're all chapped.
Yeah, I was like, put on some chapstick, girl.
She's like weathered a sandstorm. I don't know.
She's eating all that sand.
And then Paul and Grandma just popped up at the end. Not even a reference to it. And it was like half a second.
Yeah. And I like how in her...
It seemed like longer than half a second for me because I was like, wait, did everyone live? And then I wrote down, wait, I legit forgot that I just buried those two.
But it's like, I like how in her ghost form, Grandma was still in a wheelchair.
Yeah. That's why I thought, like, wait, did she live?
That's why I was like, I thought my game glitched or something.
I was like, oh my God. Do we have to start over? Is this the Groundhog's fucking Groundhog Day level?
So results. So one of the results...
I took a picture.
One of the results was...
Save Paul.
Save Paul. And I was like, when did we even have the fucking chance to do that?
I didn't even know I could. And what was I going to do to a fucking, what looked like a velociraptor attack on his freaking...
I think what you said, Sam, probably was, you could have gone inside the house.
I did.
But like, to go see him.
Well, no, I think I went in. Oh, I just went in to talk to Grandma.
Yeah, you probably could have gone and talked to him.
And then there was an option...
To not repair the bike.
Yeah, it said didn't repair the bike, and which is what I did.
No, we didn't.
Well, it said didn't repair the bike. Yeah. Well, that was the option.
Yeah, and 92% of people.
Yeah, 92% of people didn't repair. That means everyone else had the same question I did. When the fuck were we supposed to repair the bike? Was that a thing we could do? This game it hides so much content behind nothing. It's just not even referenced. And then you look at the results page and I could have saved Paul. I could have repaired a bike.
And didn't save Paul. 74%.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like...
And completed the ritual. You see, like, so there was a chance to not complete the ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, what implications does that have?
So my big question...
And I was also writing notes when... Can you do something other than hug Jay?
You could have kissed him.
No. Why?
I don't know.
Figured that, but I didn't.
But like, so my big takeaways from this chapter are...
Like I was drawing this.
We cannot have... In video games, we can't have a Native American story without leaning on spirits. Mm-hmm. Also there were ghosts.
Yeah, fighting that spirit.
I want where'd they come from? Like, have they never established that? Like,
it was the ancestors that.
Yeah, but like,
there's ghosts. There's ghosts. That's it.
Like, that's my take. Like, oh, there's ghosts in this world.
I mean, there's sand monsters, Sam. There are fucking 3-story tall sand monsters.
Yeah, and I'm saying, like, given the lore of this game that has been built over the last several chapters, the sand monster makes sense because it was an entity. Entities exist in this world. Apparently, so do ghosts. Just like straight ghosts, out of nowhere. It's just ghosts. They're ghosts.
My biggest problem with this chapter is this is the chapter that had the most to do with spirits and like the supernatural, and we learned the least.
You learned that apparently 5 guys with a talisman can bring in...
Like, you use Aiden more in the chapter when you're getting raped than in the chapter when there's spirits everywhere.
You know, I'm still still really caught up on the fact that just a bunch of tribal magic did what seemed like they needed a building full of scientists for it and equipment.
So that's my other big takeaway. Like ghosts exist in this world, and 5 guys with a talisman summoned an entity.
When they introduced that for me,
I hate this game.
I think that was the straw. I think that was the final straw for me.
I hate this game so much.
So do I.
Oh my god. All right, well, listen.
I finished Separation though.
We're all worked up. We'll be back.
We still have like 10 chapters left.
Okay, well, let's try to power through these.
Hopefully they're all like Separation.
Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're not going to talk about Beyond anymore. We're going to talk about Predator. We watched Predator. Also bad. Anyways, more good enough after the break. Hello and welcome back to Good Enough.
Wow.
Matt had to leave, but Robbie's still here.
And Matt actually
left.
Matt actually had to leave.
We don't have a guest here. Matt actually is gone. Robbie, we saw Predator.
We did.
And I'm reading my notes. Mm-hmm. I don't understand. We saw this movie like a week ago. I hardly remember anything about it.
The only thing I remember about it is it being very insensitive towards everybody.
Ooh, boy.
Whether you have a disability, a vagina, or brown skin.
Yep, absolutely, for sure. Fucking crazy. So, this movie, I guess it takes place. They're all canon, right? All the Predator movies.
Yeah. Oh, we know they are because they had like all the weapons from all the past movies.
Oh, that's true. And then they said, the first time we saw one was in 1987, referencing the Arnold movie or whatever.
The first time we saw the Predator was when Arnold Schwarzenegger beat him up.
He spoke those words. So this movie, to me, like, it didn't know what it wanted to be until like halfway through the movie, when it just leaned super heavily into like, it was like a goofy, like, group of misfits.
Yeah, like this, like we had said this, like this movie felt like it came straight out of 95.
Yeah.
Like 97, like it. I'm gonna bring up a good movie, like just how Deep Blue Sea had a crew of dummies running around getting killed. You know, they all have their expertise
and their quirks and stuff.
Yeah. So it was like that, like a cast like that.
Well, it was yeah. And what do you call that, like, style? Like,
I don't know. Like Sci-Fi Channel. I don't know. Like,
well, like,
you know what I mean?
What about like Alien and Aliens? Like, they set that standard, right? Where it's a group, everyone has their own quirks and stuff and personalities.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just me personally, but like the Alien movies, I don't know why I would take that more serious than this movie, than the Predator. Because
we're meant to. This movie, they leaned really heavily into like the comedy aspect of it.
It's a group of misfits, is the nicest way.
Like convicts, ex-cons.
Yeah, I mean, but they're not even.
Or like they're not even like current cons.
They're not even really ex-cons though. I mean, they are, but they're military. They each had like enough crazy to have them like kicked out of the military, but they're not bad guys. Like they're not to
evil. To me, like this group of people, they were like suffering from PTSD. Like
each one of them was suffering horribly. One tried to kill himself.
Yes.
Then later succeeded, but like it's introduced that these guys. One has Tourette's, and it's movie Tourette's, not. It's just nothing but F-bombs and just it's TV and movie.
Yeah,
Tourette's.
it's the guy had Tourette's, but like it was a joke.
Yeah.
They made jokes about it.
Yeah, it only came into play when they were trying to like liven up a scene, which sounds insane because like he was saying, well, I'll let you tell the.
I don't want to say it.
Say the line. Repeat his line to Olivia Munn.
Olivia Munn. She's like a scientist or whatever. And then once the Predator crashes, they go get her. And
they all team up pretty quickly, which I wasn't mad at. I wasn't mad at how they assembled. You know, like running through the base away from the predator.
no, yeah, it was fine. I was impressed that Olivia Munn was so like athletic and like agile. She's just like a scientist.
Yeah, right up until she shot herself in the foot.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, though,
But like
she was
that,
pretty impressive.
well, they took her to like a hotel room or whatever, and after she tranked herself.
Yeah, she tranked herself, passed out. They all escaped the base, got to the hotel, creepily, like built a shrine around her,
They wanted to make her feel comfortable.
which was so weird. It's like
I hated every one of these characters.
It's like, yeah, you could be a soldier and still have had contact with a woman and know how to speak to them, not like literally huddling in a corner talking about her while she's sitting across the room from you.
One of the guys made her a foil unicorn.
Yeah. Because, I guess that was sweet. I don't know.
So stupid. But then, like, she's getting ready to leave the hotel room, and then the Tourette's guy, he said,
What did he say?
I wrote it down, and I'm looking at it, and I don't...
What did he say? Because this was a Hollywood movie written by people, and this line was spoken by an actor, a well-known actor,
Both two actors
to another
several times.
to another well-known female, like a woman.
Yeah. He said, "Eat my pussy,"
And then
and then she's like, and then she said,
it made it worse because she calls it out.
"Did you say eat my pussy?"
He was all dope. I said you're so busy or something.
Yeah.
It was like, oh,
And they went back and
no.
forth for an uncomfortably long
like
amount
too
of
long.
time.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't understand it. Every other Predator movie has kind of been like that horror vibe, and this is just like action comedy vibe.
Yeah.
All these characters were they were riddled with like insensitive like disabilities and characteristics. Like they made jokes out of Tourette's, and the main character's kid had autism. And that was
Oh my god, man! Too many times they said, "Oh, don't let that little dummy like," or just like making him seem like because he's autistic, like, "Oh fuck, he's a little dummy."
but
It's like what?
yeah, and then like his dad mailed him the helmet or whatever.
Yeah. Well, he was supposed to go to the PO box, but he never paid the PO box, so they just delivered it to his ex-wife and child. Obviously.
Duh.
Don't you know anything about the United States Postal Service's like?
Do they do that? They
I don't
do
know.
that, right? Is that
I can't imagine if you don't pay for your
PO box?
Your PO box. They're not just gonna be like, oh well, we better go take his to his last known address,
right? Because we pay taxes to fund these things, to fund like the USPS. I mean, they would hold his package until that bill got paid, and then the entire movie would have been just like nothing.
That kid wouldn't have been involved. That kid wouldn't have had a kill count. Like everyone, there isn't a single character in this movie that doesn't have a kill count. Including the autistic 9-year-old.
Because he wears the helmet for Halloween.
He wears the helmet and blows someone up with it wasn't even the shoulder cannon. It was like a cannon that came out of the Predator's like
wrist
like
or
its
shoulder
head
or
or
head.
something.
Yeah. God, my notes are so stupid. The villain in this movie, I couldn't.
It was the villain of the movie was Bigger Predator.
Yeah.
Or was there a human villain? I honestly don't remember.
Yeah. The guy who brought Olivia Munn to the lab, he was always chewing the gum, the Nicorette gum.
Right. Yeah.
I couldn't get a beat on him on what his characteristics were. Was that it?
Yes.
And then at the end, they all had to team up against the bigger predator.
The big predator.
And the guy wore the shoulder cannon, and he accidentally blew his own head off.
Blew his own head off. I totally forgot about that. I like that scene though.
It just happened so nonchalantly. They didn't even talk about it.
Like they barely established that. Up to that point, they had barely established that the cannon like works on its own, like motion sensor. So like this, like the like an enemy comes up behind the guy and the cannon like straight turns left and just shoots him in the head.
You got to imagine like a cannon or that kind of technology has got to have a failsafe or something like that in it, right?
You would imagine, yes.
Oh my god. I forget. Oh, I want to talk about like because there were some big names in this movie.
Yeah.
But like every character was terrible. Keegan-Michael Key, I fucking hated his character.
Yeah, he was bad.
He was real bad. He tried to be funny, but
I don't even. What was his thing? Was he a PTSD guy or?
yeah, because him and Tourette's guy were like best friends, and they like bonded over PTSD. I think a support group, right?
Yeah.
Because they were super close. But then like there was one guy who was a magician or like did card tricks.
Oh man, what did he say before he did that card trick?
Oh fuck!
He said something. And then he went into a card trick, and the card trick had nothing to do with anything he was talking about. He's a demolition guy.
Yeah.
He was talking about blowing stuff up.
Yeah.
And he's all, now you see it, now you do.
Yes.
Like, oh, that barely tracks.
I wrote it down, but I can't understand. I can't read my notes. I've got something in
It was
quotes
Theon,
here.
and it was Theon Greyjoy. I was like, oh, brother.
Oh, my.
I hate seeing this guy's face.
It was crazy how just like,
And his arm blown off.
and then like just died. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he probably had his arm ripped off and survived, but then killed himself like everyone else was content to do.
Yeah,
Like the PTSD and Tourette's
and Key
shot each other to death from like
they're like to prevent the suffering, but like the timing on them shooting each other.
I mean, that would have had to have been like they literally would have had to pull the trigger at the same exact moment. Mm-hmm. And I don't even like the coordination for that alone
Yes.
is impressive.
Stupid.
They killed each other.
I did kind of like the stuff when the Predator got to his ship and the force field activated.
I did too.
I kind of like the force field stuff.
Me too. I liked how he was like stuck under the force field. And, I mean, it's like that how he had to get his legs chopped off and then
We haven't talked about his buddy and all the fucking cigarettes that this guy smoked.
oh my goodness. There was a character who
The character's name was Nebraska.
yeah, and every time you saw him, he was lighting up a brand new, like the whitest cigarette you've ever seen. Like, oh, it was insane. And then at the end of the movie, when everyone's dead, like all these mementos have been collected.
Oh, they bury the mementos for the group.
Which was very confusing for us because the whole movie we couldn't track who was who.
No,
So then
none of the I didn't know any character's name except for Nebraska.
Nebraska.
I don't know any other character's name. And then also, I guess the Predator.
And
I know that character's name.
I do Nebraska, Big Predator, and Smaller Predator.
And then Dog Predator, Predator Dog.
That's right, dog predators. Oh man.
Look, I'm willing to give like goofy movies like this a pass.
Me too.
But it just felt so insensitive to like people suffering from PTSD, people with autism, people with Tourette's.
For 2018, I am surprised this movie made it past the studio.
Yes,
Like,
it was not okay.
no, it's insensitive all the way around.
Yeah,
To the point where parts get uncomfortable to watch.
the Eat My Pussy one
Yeah,
like
that was really bad.
oh my god.
Although it was clearly just us because that got a big laugh.
Yes,
I'm sure you remember.
like ha ha ha, that guy is Tourette's.
Yeah, he said pussy. It was like,
Let's make an uncomfortably long joke about it.
oh brother.
Jesus. All right. Well, do you recommend it?
No, I'd recommend it on like 2 years TBS. Let the commercials break it up for you.
Yeah.
I would then. but
Okay.
no, I can't. I wouldn't say go out. It's not. There wasn't even enough Predator in it for me. Like
I know there were two Predators and there
two
wasn't enough
yeah.
Predator.
And like the Predator just came to drop off a Power Ranger costume, like a Power Ranger armor.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's right.
The end setup
What did it set up?
Guyver, like, what is this? Is he gonna like protect the Earth?
Well, and
now?
then like the whole thing about the predators that they're like gathering DNA from the best and brightest
to make a super. So they gave a reason as to why they rip out the spine, the head and spine.
They did do that, yeah.
Because they rip out the head and spine and then just suck all that spinal fluid up.
And then like he grew an exoskeleton.
Yeah, and then gained the intelligence of whatever that creature or whatever was, whatever.
Which is why they wanted the autistic boy.
They wanted autism. I don't know.
Because he was like, a super genius. He was like the Reed Richards of this world. He's gonna eat up his smarts.
The predator came and he was like, on our planet we vaccinate. So there's
autism's been eliminated. So we need okay.
We need autism.
Jesus. All right, well, anything
Don't see it.
anything else?
Do see movies, but don't see Predator.
Don't see this movie.
Go see the other Predators.
There's other movies, yeah.
Go watch Predator 2, my favorite.
or go-
Danny Glover versus the Predator
Or
in New York City.
and then the predator gives him like an old timey pirate pistol at the end. Or go see Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
That movie's fun, right?
Just go watch Prometheus or something.
Go watch any other movie. Go watch Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah. Sharks are scary.
Yeah.
And they're real. So.
And go watch The Meg.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. The Meg.
All right. Well, Robbie, thanks for sticking around when Matt left.
Always?
You think he'll hear this?
Probably not.
Hey, Matt. Remember when he was super sick?
He was all sick. He was all, oh, don't tell anyone I was sick. Oh. He was all sick.
Hella sick. All right. Well, thanks for listening. And we will be back next week with more Good Enough. Bye-bye.